The psychological reconstruction of Iran, from authoritarianism to democratic culture. Article 5. Freedom of expression, the oxygen of a society's mental health. Just as breathing is essential to the body, freedom of expression is essential to a society's mental health. Just as oxygen deprivation harms the body, denying people the freedom to express their thoughts gradually weakens both individual minds and the collective psyche. A society whose citizens cannot freely question, criticize, disagree, or share their experiences eventually loses its capacity to learn, reform, and grow. Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression, including the freedom to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media, regardless of frontiers. This is not merely a legal or political principle. Psychologically, it is a foundation of both individual and social well-being. To preserve identity, security, and dignity, people must be able to express what they think and feel without fear. In authoritarian systems, censorship extends beyond state institutions and gradually becomes self-censorship. People begin silencing themselves before speaking. Over time, this habit restricts not only political expression, but also personal emotions, concerns, questions, and creativity. Self-censorship is one of authoritarianism's deepest psychological consequences because it turns people into the silent guardians of their own minds. Fear is the driving force behind self-censorship. Fear of punishment, rejection, humiliation, losing one's position, or being labeled a traitor. When fear dominates social relationships, trust gives way to caution, silence, and suspicion. People become less willing to tell the truth, trust one another, or accept shared responsibility. As a result, society becomes psychologically exhausted as well as politically closed. From a psychological perspective, expressing thoughts and emotions is essential for emotional regulation and reducing psychological distress. People feel secure when they know they can express their views, even if others disagree. Freedom of expression does not eliminate differences. It makes respectful disagreement possible. A healthy society is not one where everyone thinks alike, but one where differences can be discussed openly and responsibly. Healthy dialogue is also one of the most effective ways to reduce cognitive biases. The human mind naturally falls into confirmation bias, overgeneralization, personalization, and black and white thinking. When people hear only like-minded voices, these biases intensify, and opponents are easily viewed as enemies, traitors, or fools. Exposure to different perspectives promotes cognitive flexibility, empathy, and critical thinking. In practice, freedom of expression is also the freedom to think better. A society that loses the ability to criticize freely also loses the ability to correct its mistakes. No individual, party, leader, or government is immune to error. Respectful criticism is not a threat, but a path to learning, accountability, and improvement. Freedom of expression is therefore a cornerstone of scientific, cultural, and social progress, and a foundation of public trust in democratic societies. Freedom of expression also strengthens social resilience. Societies that openly discuss crises, disagreements, and concerns recognize reality sooner, solve problems more effectively, and preserve public trust. Silencing voices does not eliminate problems, it merely conceals them until they emerge at a greater cost. Respecting freedom of expression and practicing healthy dialogue are not merely aspirations for a future Iran. They are principles that opposition leaders and supporters must uphold today. Democracy cannot be advocated while critics are insulted, excluded, or branded as traitors. A society seeking to overcome authoritarianism must first learn to tolerate disagreement within its own political movements and civic life. Listening to criticism, responding with reason, avoiding labels, and respecting others' right to hold different views are practical exercises in democracy. The opposition's conduct today reflects its readiness to embrace pluralism, accountability, and the responsible exercise of power tomorrow. Freedom of expression, however, is not the same as insult, hate speech, or humiliation. Like every right, It carries responsibilities. It must be guided by respect for human dignity, the pursuit of truth, and social responsibility. A democratic society protects free expression while fostering responsible dialogue. The line between criticism and hate must be defined by transparent law, equal rights, and respect for human dignity, not used as a pretext for censorship. Tomorrow's Iran needs citizens who are unafraid to speak the truth and equally willing to hear it. Iran's psychological reconstruction cannot succeed without breaking the cycle of fear, silence, and self-censorship. Just as the body cannot survive without oxygen, society cannot remain healthy, creative, trustworthy, or resilient without freedom of expression. Freedom of expression is not merely a political right. It is the oxygen of a society's mental health, the school of democratic dialogue, and a pillar of a free Iran. Mahmoud Ashkanian, neuropsychiatrist, PhD.